It's the RIOT podcast. This is our bonus episode for the week. We still don't have a name for this, so if you've got any good suggestions, we're still waiting for a really good one that just grabs us. But if you've got one, let us know. You can text it to 8772 RadioU. Today's topic is going to be paid time off. Because over the course of the past month, it's just that time of year. I think this is happening to everybody. There's sicknesses going around the workplace. And here at RadioU, I believe just about every employee has taken at least one sick day in the past month.
That is true.
I don't know how I kind of started it, although I had different sickness than what everybody else has had, but I lost my voice completely. And then you and our guy, Big Country, and Nene each all individually had to take time off because y'all were sick. So it's just been going around. And then I saw this story. I saw this lady, sick time for you and I, we only use it when we really need it, when it's so important. But for this lady, she's using it as a joke. She stored it up. We've got a woman here who got mad at her employer. She had worked at this place for a while, and apparently the company screwed her over in some way. In response to, I think her somebody passed away. And so she wanted to take time off for that. And they were kind of obnoxious about it. And so she, to get back at this company, used her 200 hours of sick time to leave early every day for about 2 months straight. She was using it as revenge. Apparently that wasn't enough to get her fired. Which I think that's something we don't think about. It's hard to get fired from a job. Most jobs, right?
Yeah, most jobs are like begging for people unless you have a really good job. The only people getting fired from jobs are in jobs that everybody else wants. And they're cutting back.
But if you have a job where you can save up 200 hours of sick time, that must not be that bad. To me, that can't be. How bad could that job be? So would you ever do that? Like, here at RadioU, you would never have this kind of conflict. But if you had a job where you're a little upset and you'd saved up a bunch of sick time, I've worked, so hard, and then they do this to me, would you get your revenge by using up your sick time like this?
This seems like a petty way to go about it. I mean, I think that the best way to do it is just to use it. Like, what people get crazy about, this is one thing that really bothers me about sick time, is when people won't use their sick time or won't use their vacation days because they think for whatever reason that their boss, it's going to get them farther.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people use it as I never call off even when I'm sick because this is going to get me ahead. And in so many jobs, that's just not true.
Yeah, they're not keeping track of that.
They don't. Your boss doesn't care. When I think about, I don't know how many days Nene's taking off this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many days Big Country.
Yep.
The Sledgehammer. Money bags. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea how many days anybody's used. And so when I think about, a lot of times people are nervous about asking their boss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they don't care. Doesn't matter. The day's going to go on without you. It's okay.
Yeah. Now, you're going to develop a reputation if people think you aren't sick and you're just routinely doing it. You'll develop a reputation. But otherwise, if you're actually sick, you should always take whatever sick time is available to you because nobody wants to catch what you have if it's contagious.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to hear you complain about I think that's an underrated one that I have experienced a lot is the people that come into work sick and then want everybody to know about it.
I'm so sick.
I feel so bad. I can barely stand up.
And go home.
Yeah. Nobody wants to hear that. And then they use that as an excuse to not put in your full effort, which it's a legitimate excuse if you're really sick, but then just don't come.
Yeah, don't come.
Nobody wants to hear about it. I think now, that said, for many companies, I don't think the reason for me that I would feel that I shouldn't take sick time off is because there's not a ton of it to go around. And I'd be worried, especially because it doesn't roll over.
Yeah.
That I'd run out when I actually really need it. That's where I feel like every time I'm sick.
Because then you're using vacation days.
Yeah. I just have to be so sick to be well, I can't come in because otherwise, I'm just going to keep assuming that I'll be sicker probably before the end of the year, so I'll use it then.
Well, the good thing too, like I was super sick like a couple weeks back. Like,
Yeah.
I was as sick as I've ever been in the past couple of years, like sick as a dog. And I used all my sick days on that one sickness, which obviously it's the end of the year, so it doesn't really matter. But had I used sick days earlier this year and I didn't have any for that time, there's no way I would have came in. I would have used all my vacation days.
Yeah. Which
would have stunk.
That would be
I would have been
horrible.
so mad.
Yeah.
But that's how it is, and that's how it is like in the U.S. compared to other countries. We get way less sick time as a whole.
Yeah, I've heard this. So other countries, they all, I mean, any, developed country, they all seem to have their employees are entitled to way more time. Oh, we know this in like Europe, right? That people have more time off than they work in some cases. And so I don't know, is that better?
I think that you need as much as you need. You don't need more than you need. You definitely don't want less than you need. But I wouldn't want more sick days that I'm going to use in a year. Like if I'm sick, I want to have the day off.
Yeah.
If I'm not sick, then I don't need to have the day off. Unless I'm taking vacation or something. I'm not going to use sick days on like a stuffy nose. But if I have the flu twice in 1 year, I want to have enough sick days to be able to cover that.
To still be able to take a vacation too.
Exactly, yeah.
I think, so what the answer would be, sick time should roll over for employers, right?
Yeah.
And aside from that, I don't know. I guess the assumption is that in the United States, if we gave people just sick time, then they would overuse, like we take advantage of it.
Which people would. I know people
Some people would, but would it be enough to overcome all the people that probably should be taking more sick days or feel free to not come into work and get everybody else sick and whatever?
Well, that's just the dynamic. It's the power dynamic.
Yeah.
The people who own the company don't want the people that are going to utilize all those sick days that they don't need to take advantage of them. Or you give the power to the actual employees where they can have as much sick time as they need, and the good ones will only use that much.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the power dynamic.
Well, and when you think about it this way, it's actually, you just got to hand it to the American employers, to companies, because not only are they making sure that they can't be taken advantage of by not offering as much sick time as in other countries, they're also taking advantage of the good employees because they're making sure they can't take all the sick time that they may need.
Exactly.
If they really were entitled to all of it. So it's actually a brilliant scheme.
And it's wild how widely it's accepted across the whole country. It's not like there's like a couple companies that have really good stuff and the other ones have all the other ones have bad. Like for the majority, not everybody has a lot of sick time unless you're working at a great company.
Yeah.
Unless it's a national, a lot of my friends work in business at big national brands. And a lot of those companies, you get a ton of time off because you're one person of a million that works there and you really don't matter that much.
Yeah.
But if you work in any
There's
sort of
several other people to pick up the slack.
Exactly. If you work at any regular business that's in just your city or just your area, then you're not going to get as much. But if you work at a big national brand, then you're going to get over a month off and all these sick days because if you're not there for a random Tuesday, it doesn't matter. One of my friends took 3 weeks off consecutively to go and just hang out in Europe. He took a whole month off. This company
with sick time or vacation?
It was vacation time. He took 3 weeks off consecutively, vacation time, and still had 2 weeks left. It's unbelievable what some of these people get, depending on what company you work for.
That's a good work if you can find it. We could turn this whole podcast into because again, we know Europe is definitely way more into offering the sick and vacation time than the United States is. We could turn this into a whole thing of what has Europe got better society-wise than the United States and vice versa? Because two off the dome is the sick time and tipping, because that's another thing in Europe that's just not a thing, right? But where do we have the edge on them? Productivity.
Clearly.
Because we never stop.
Clearly we're getting things done around here.
Yeah, that's right.
People would argue a lot of things. I think it goes hand in hand. People in Europe probably think that they have it great, and we probably think we have it great.
We have it figured out. If we didn't, then we would change.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I've got here, I came up with a few things, a list of ailments I want to see how you would respond if you were afflicted by one of these and if it would be bad enough for you to take time off of work, take sick time off of work. Number 1, concussion.
Concussions for adults aren't real. So
What do you mean they're not real?
It's not real. Like, what are you going to do? Sit in a dark room? Like, what are you getting hurt from? Where did you fall?
What if
You're not playing athletics anymore.
Hey, you've fallen before.
I've fallen.
You skinned your knee.
This is a wild conversation.
If you fall backwards.
Concussion's a real thing, yes. Once you're over the age of 23 years old, you're no longer in athletics. Like, you're getting concussed for what? What are you doing?
What if you play, a lot of people, you stay active, you play pickup basketball. You could get a concussion playing pickup basketball.
And what are you going to do? You're going to go to the doctor. You're going to pay to see the doctor. This is a wild thing about concussions, too. You're going to pay to see the doctor, and there's no cure for a concussion, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you to sit in a dark room and just then don't look at electronics. So you're paying to see a doctor for him to tell you to go do nothing. Craziness. Unbelievable. The people would pay to do that.
Well, we got to look at screens here. So I think if I got a concussion, I think I'd have to not work.
Be diagnosed. I mean, yeah, you could go home. It just depends. If you went to the doctor and they said you have a concussion, then you could take that time off.
I also think that
I don't think I'd ever go to the doctor if I hit my head hard enough. I would have to be knocked out probably.
I guess you'd have to. I'm theorizing here that. Like if you have a concussion that's bad enough for you to be possibly aware that you may have a concussion, then you probably shouldn't be driving either, which is one more reason you probably shouldn't be coming to work. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if you have a concussion as an adult, you must have been in a terrible accident, you would think.
For you and I, we also have to talk, and concussions make you all like we'd be babbling nonsense too, even more so than normal. I don't think like if we were sitting up at the desk.
I don't know if our job is the good one to... But I say it'd be too hard to do with a concussion, probably. I think there's probably a lot of other ones.
I think, well, yeah, anything where you're up and moving.
I think as long as if you're babbling like a maniac, because you have a concussion, it's probably never coming back. You're probably never talking the same again. I think
it makes you foggy, though. Like, you can't, like, you'd be talking and I wouldn't be able to respond correctly.
It's like a typical Monday morning.
Yeah, I think concussion, you take the time off. What about...
Am I answering these or you from here on out?
I think actually, though, when I was coming up with this list, so many of these are like diseases you wouldn't expect or
adults to do.
Yeah. Because that's hard. Like when you're an adult, you're either like sick, you either have the flu or whatever, or you have like a disease and you're in the hospital. There's not like other stuff that's like, well, but here's what I came up with. Swimmer's ear.
Swimmer's ear.
When was the last time you heard an adult get swimmer's ear?
Ringworms next, or what? Is that on the list?
Have you ever had swimmer's ear?
I've never had swimmer's ear.
Neither have I, so I guess how could we even know if we would need time off for it?
I'm going to mark it down right now as a no. But I also wear headphones the whole day.
Yeah, so I think it would be...
So maybe swimmer's ear would be a little tough for me.
I think it would hamper our abilities.
Imagine texting it or emailing our boss. I won't be in today. Swimmer's ear. Fooling around in the hot tub.
How are you going to get swimmer's ear? You're going to get it because you were just on vacation and like at the beach or something. And then so you're coming back the day after you're at the beach. I got swimmer's ear.
I can't come in.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a wild reason to take a sick day.
I'm trying to see what the symptoms of swimmer's
ear even is. It's just a wild thing.
It's, let's see.
It makes you sound like a weenie. 100%.
What if you called it otitis externa? Which I believe is the scientific name.
That's way better. Like imagine you're with your girlfriend and you're supposed to do something and with her family, and then she has to tell her dad, "Oh, Isaiah won't be joining us today. We just got back from vacation. He has swimmer's ear." Her dad's gonna be like, "What? What is this wimp doing?"
It says it's a painful infection of the outer ear. So I don't even know if it affects your hearing. But it's just like, it would hurt.
It's often caused by water remaining in the ear after swimming. I mean, yet again, I bet this probably stinks to have, but that really makes you sound like a weenie.
Symptoms, ear pain, itching and irritation in and around your ear canal, redness and swelling of your outer ear and ear canal, a feeling of pressure and fullness inside your ear, and scaly skin in and around your ear canal.
Resolves within days to weeks.
Yeah, you can't take time off for that, right?
No.
Next. Let's do, next we'll do pink eye.
Pink eye.
Because
You've been off for pink eye.
I've taken time off for pink eye.
It's a weird thing to take off. I don't know if I would be able to get diagnosed. How did you know? You know?
I did a telehealth thing with the doctor.
They looked at you through the camera?
I did. It was just a chat. I sent him a picture, which could have been from anybody.
That's hilarious.
So if you ever want to get like a doctor's note, yeah. But
so you sent a picture of your eye, and then they looked at it, and they just texted back, and they were like, pink eye.
Yep.
You got it.
Mm-hmm. Prescribed me a thing, antibiotic drops or something. And
how bad did it stink to have? I don't know if I've ever had pink eye.
I hadn't had it until I got it. Like as an adult. I mean, like normally, again, that's a kid's thing. I never got it as a kid. As an adult, it's uncomfortable. As soon as you put the drops in, though, like literally, it kind of clears up a little bit. Apparently, in some extreme cases, and again, this is probably more for children, but like it actually makes you also sick. Is it
pressure? Is there pressure?
No, it's like real itchy and uncomfortable.
How's sleeping?
And then like it's just constantly like, again, there's different kinds of it too, I think, but your eyes like constantly got like
draining. Oh,
yeah, like seepage all up in it. So like the thing is like pink eye, it's kind of inconvenient for you to have it, but also for me to be sitting across from you, and it's very contagious.
Oh yeah.
So for me to sit across from you, there'd be a chance you could get it, and also you wouldn't want to keep looking at me. It'd be gross. Yeah, and we do like eye. Video.
Don't come in with pink eye.
Yeah, I think if you're in an office, like
you do sound like a child when you say I have pink eye.
Yeah.
Though.
Another one of those. Don't I know it? But nevertheless, here's another one along those same lines. Mono.
Yeah.
Would you take time off? Would you call the boss and email the boss? I've got mono. Can't make it in today.
Because mono's that's like the makeout one, right?
Yeah, it's a kissing disease, they call it.
The kissing disease.
Have you ever had mono?
I've never had mono.
No, me neither. I've never kissed anybody.
I haven't had enough kisses.
I was looking up what how you know you have mono. The symptoms are 1, extreme fatigue. You can't take time off for extreme fatigue, or else I'd never work.
Yeah.
Fever, sore throat.
Mono's pretty serious.
Head and body aches. I mean, it kept Sam Darnold out of a few games. Remember that?
One of my friends
if you
got
can't
mono
play football
in high
with
school.
it, I don't think you can come into work.
One of my friends got it in high school, and he was down for the count for a while. I feel like.
Let's see. Swollen lymph nodes in the neck and armpits.
Oh.
Swollen liver or spleen or both, and a rash.
Oh, if I have a rash, I'm not coming in.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to go on the radio and talk about how I have mono.
You don't think you could just ignore
slightly,
that?
just like in the first break, be like,
but you sound
mono
all like,
today.
Just you're fatigued, so you're all kind of just out of it a little bit.
Yeah, I lean mono, not coming in.
Yeah, I wonder why. Why is it? Is it just because when you're younger you're doing more kissing, or why is mono like more of a
you're just more susceptible, maybe?
Your immune system.
There's no way you're getting more kisses as a child than I am as a grown 25-year-old man.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe for a lot of people, at least once you hit like 25, you're only you're the limit. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many high schoolers are going around kissing a bunch of people, but I feel like you're more likely to kiss several people in a week when you're a high schooler than when you're 25.
Maybe like one of them kissing parties.
Yeah. Spin the bottle.
Yeah.
7 minutes in heaven.
I never got into any of those.
No, me neither.
I never got invited.
They never invited me.
Ridiculous. They said I was too eager. I was too eager for spin the bottle.
Sometimes I'd get an invitation. I'd get all excited. Then it was a prank.
Of course.
They'd send me to an empty, abandoned home.
Yep. They send you back to the dumpster.
Yeah.
We're all meeting in the dumpster at 3 o'clock. Yeah. We all remember that one. Nobody was there.
Last one. I think I know the answer to this one. Would you take sick time off if you needed to get an ingrown toenail removed?
No. I'm coming in.
You're going to tough it out?
I'm going to tough it out for the ingrown toenail.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention it either.
Does it depend on what line of work you're in? Because like here, I think we could get away with it. But if you're a construction worker, you have to spend all day on your feet.
A lot of things that I can get away with here that if I was a construction worker, just wouldn't fly. Like you think about all of the sicknesses, I could sit here and talk and I don't have to move all that much. Like exhaustion isn't that big of a deal. To where if I was a construction worker, had more of a physical job,
the
whole exhaustion thing would be a bigger deal. But I will say the whole congestion and voice thing, that stinks for this job.
That's right. We really have to take care of our voices.
Yeah.
That's the underrated thing about this job, this line of work, that you just wouldn't. I mean, you'd think, like, how do they always sound so good? Because we got to take care of it.
I really struggled with this. Honestly, early on, when I first started working here, I really struggled because I wasn't used to waking up so early and keeping my voice, especially from after the weekends. I use my voice so much during the weekends, whether it's like cheering on sporting events or going to concerts or hanging out with friends and staying
Yelling
up
at your
late.
dog.
Yeah, exactly. And so my voice was always like, it used to be shot all the time. I would come in and my voice, I was always having a voice thing that stunk to go through all the time.
You sounded like you were going through puberty.
It was wild. That might have been it too.
You were 23 years old. You sounded like you were in high school.
And so now I've found myself in a place where, especially watching sporting events, I can blow out my voice so easily watching a Browns game or an Ohio State game, to where now I've gotten better about not completely ruining my voice watching a game in the fourth quarter.
I heard recently, I guess I should recheck on what this was and actually like find out more about it. But it was the announcer for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he's got a great voice. He was giving his tips on how he keeps his voice nice and crisp and clear, even if he gets sick or whatever. And it was some kind of, he says he always has this. It was like the honey lemon water or something like that. Something along those lines.
Sounds yummy.
Yeah, that he just like drinks it constantly because it keeps your throat nice and clear.
Honey's good, man.
He does that even when he's not sick or whatever. That's just like his drink. You just never see him without his mixture, his special water mixture. So I heard that. I was like, I need to look this up, and I should probably get on that too.
Yeah, I feel like I do a good job of being preventative from even getting sick. I take a lot of vitamins. And I didn't used to do that either, but ever since I started taking more vitamins, except before, yet again, when I first started working here, I wasn't getting enough sleep, which I still don't get. I get the same amount of sleep as I did before. But when you get so much less sleep and you're waking up kind of exhausted every day at such an early hour, you're way more prone to getting sick. Like getting lack of sleep and lack of water are the two biggest things that can make you sick. And so I was getting sick like constantly when I first started working here. Then I started taking a bunch of vitamins all the time. And I believe in vitamins. I know not everybody does. I believe in vitamins. I take them nonstop, and I feel as if it works.
I do a lot to keep myself from getting sick by simply washing my hands.
See, that part I skip.
Yeah.
I do vitamins instead of that.
And which one seems to be working better?
I can't be sure.
You took time off more recently and for longer.
That is true, but I haven't had pink eye twice.
It's the Worst of the Rye podcast.